This week on LTC News, Sylvia Contover turns 100.
Trust-act city, but as a sanctuary city, as this larger
Sanctuary cities,
again, moral, ethical entity.
And Jazz in January. Stay with us. Welcome to LTC News. I'm your news anchor, Shomita Acharya. LTC News is a weekly look at news and stories from our community. On January 25th, the non-partisan group Lowell Votes produced a timely and informative program in the LTC studio on sanctuary cities. The panel discussed President Trump's new executive order to restrict immigration and withhold federal funds from cities that do not assist ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, with their operations. Dr. Seo Kim, a UMass Lowell professor and community activist, first explained the terms trust ordinance and sanctuary city.
Usually, most specifically, what people are talking about is a kind of trust act or trust ordinance, which is what Lawrence has. And what this says specifically is that local law enforcement will not ask immigration status, voluntarily enforce federal immigration law. Basically, as Lowell Police Chief Bill Taylor has said, that they will not become sort of ICE officials, de facto ICE officials. But this is a specific legal definition. There are also cities like San Francisco that have made a larger sort of not just legal but also ethical and moral statement that we will stand by all members of our community, documented, undocumented, any vulnerable refugees. And so, for example, San Francisco has self-identified not just as a trust act city, but as a sanctuary city, as this larger sort of, again, moral, ethical entity. In terms of the federal government, for the current president, there is no distinction. I mean, he sees the trust act cities as sanctuary cities, and when he talks about pulling federal funding from these cities, he's talking about those trust act cities.
Lowell has a long history of welcoming refugees and immigrants from the 1800s to today.
The concept of sanctuary really becomes alive during the Fugitive Slave Act, when Lowell identified itself as part of the Underground Railroad, as providing sanctuary for runaway slaves against the threat of prosecution by the government. Lowell did not give up any of its fugitive slaves, right? It provided sanctuary.
Lowell has not declared itself a sanctuary city or passed a trust ordinance as Lawrence and several other Massachusetts cities have. But according to Police Superintendent Taylor, the police do not question the immigration status of people they encounter.
If the goal is to actually develop effective community policing, to strengthen relationships between the community and the police, then the community has to feel safe in going to the police in order to share information about crimes and things like that, without fear that it's going to somehow blow back on them and that they will be deported or their background will be checked out, or that it will blow back on their family or something like that.
In the city of Lawrence, we are looking for people to trust the police. We are looking for people to be able to get help from the police department. And if somebody comes to the police department and asks for help, and the first thing that they ask is, what is your legal status? Nobody's going to come.
The show covered a lot more related topics. You can watch the entire hour-long program on LTC Channel 8 or online at ltc.org/watch. And now, Brian Dorrington, LTC Director of Municipal Programming, brings us his City Council Synopsis.
Hello and welcome to the City Council Synopsis for the meeting of January 31st, 2017. No, I do not have a hole in my neck. I'm wearing a green undershirt, and I forgot that we use green screen. Yes, I do this for a living. Oops. Early spring or 6 more weeks of winter. I don't know. I filmed this segment on Wednesday, so I have no idea what Punxsutawney Phil's prediction will be this year, but I can guarantee it will be incorrect. According to NOAA, Phil has been wrong 89% of the time. This fact did not escape President Trump, as the president just signed an executive order banning winter starting right now. He stated springs during his term will be the best springs ever. In response, Punxsutawney Phil filed a lawsuit in federal court claiming the executive order is unconstitutional and completely rodenticulous. Get it? Rodent? Ridiculous? I know, it's terrible. The zoning subcommittee met to discuss a number of proposed changes to the zoning code. There have been several meetings on this issue, and neighborhood groups have actively been involved in providing feedback and recommendations. There are a lot of specific changes, and they are very tedious to review, but also very important. I would highly suggest everyone visit the city's website to see the document outlining the proposed amendments. You can find it on the Minutes and Agendas section of the site. After months of discussion in several public hearings, the council officially voted to adopt the fee change ordinance put forth by the city. The new ordinance generally consists of fee and penalty increases, which the city claims is necessary to cover costs and shift the burden away from taxpayers. Once again, there are tons of changes, and I suggest everyone review the document online in the Minutes and Agendas section. 10 motions ended up passing. Some of the highlights are Councilor Belanger's motion to have the city manager execute a rapid response program using First Watch. First Watch is an app that tracks overdoses using real-time data, which provides quicker response times and allows for follow-up visits for those who have overdosed. Another motion by Councilor Belanger asked the city manager to provide a report on the juvenile group home on Nesmith Street. Councilor Belanger pointed out that over 500 calls to police were made by the group in 2016 alone. He went on to say that while he believes in the mission of the group, someone needs to be held responsible. Mayor Kennedy requested the city manager research a way to secure funding for an environmental impact study for the new Rourke Bridge. He noted that he believes the old impact study will soon be outdated. Well, that's all I have time for today. I have a quick turnaround this week and spent far too much time on my intro. Remember, you can watch the meetings on LTC Channel 99 and on demand at ltc.org. Thanks for watching. Be swell.
Sylvia Contover, a well-loved local resident, celebrated her 100th birthday surrounded by friends at UMass Lowell's O'Leary Library, where she worked for many decades. News producer Gloria Politis was there to reminisce with her.
Happy birthday, Sylvia.
Thank you
It's
very
so
much.
nice to be here, to be invited to your party.
Oh, thank you for coming.
All right. And can you tell us, like, in 100 years, what are your fondest memories?
Well, the changes that happened in my lifetime, from no electricity to cell phones. I think cell phones are the best thing that has happened. Yeah, because everybody in the world can have a cell phone, even people who are poor in India, they have cell phones. So I think it's marvelous that, you know, we can spread around globally that way.
Great. How about a personal memory? What's one that stands out in your life?
Having Dean, that little guy outside there. Yeah, it was nice having him. Yeah. And the granddaughter.
I was just going to ask you about that. I know he has a daughter, so that's great. Now, how old is she now?
She's 17.
Wow.
She's a junior at Chelmsford High School. And she's doing well, and she's very active here.
Great. So what are you going to do for the next, 10 years? You predicted to 100, so now what are you predicting to?
Well, today I spontaneously said 4 more years, so I'll stick with that for a while.
All right. Well, we'll come back in 4 years to interview you. How's that?
Very good. All right, and I hope to be here then.
I hope you are too. I had a great aunt who lived to 107, so
All right.
you're conservative in your estimate.
Could she drive?
She never drove.
Oh, all right.
But my aunt and myself, we drove her around everywhere. So.
It's not the same. You have to drive to have the freedom to get around. Mm.
Well, maybe they'll have self-driving cars by then.
Well, that's what I told my son. That he says, "What do you want for your birthday?" I said, "Well, I'm going to I need a new car, but I'll wait until they're self-driving cars, and I'll get one.
All right, they're coming. Well, thanks so much, Sylvia. All right, and hopefully we'll go for lunch soon.
All right, we may make it someday.
Yes.
All right.
All right. Yeah.
I know everyone here feels the same way I do. You've just got great heart, great courage, and you are an inspiration to all of us. You're an amazing person. You're warm, your graciousness, friendship. And Sylvia, we know why you want 4 more years. You just want to make sure you got a woman in the White House.
Happy birthday, Sylvia, from all of us at LTC News. Inspiring girls to be strong, smart, and bold is the mission of Girls Inc. of Greater Lowell. And like centenarian Sylvia Contover, the organization has been around since 1917. On January 26th, Lindsay's restaurant in Dracut was filled with supporters of Girls Inc. who came out for the winter fundraising event, Jazz in January.
Our girls have been serving our Greater Lowell community for a very long time. And going back before we were Girls Inc. and before we were Girls Clubs of America, we've been the Community Services Club of Lowell and the War Community Services Club of Lowell for a total of 100 years this year. So
it's a very holistic approach to giving girls a perspective on what's going on in the world today, how they can be, as we say, strong, smart, and bold as members of Girls Inc. And we want them to be very proud of themselves. We want them to be responsible citizens. And I have to hand it to the staff and to Tracy Ingersoll for all the hard work they do and the success that they have with the young women that work that are in our program. So thank you.
I wake up every morning excited to go to Girls Inc. I know that whenever I go there, I have friends and staff that care about me. If I'm having a problem at home or at school, I know I can talk to someone at Girls Inc. about it. I talk to someone at Girls Inc. because they make me feel safe. Girls Inc. has done many things to improve my personal life. Before I went there, my grades were slipping because I wasn't excited about school, and I thought I wasn't smart enough to learn what we were learning. I made bad choices like yelling and throwing things at my teacher. My whole attitude was negative. A few weeks after I started Girls Inc., my grades slowly started to rise. Girls Inc. helped me believe in myself more. I was more into the school lesson because the adults at Girls Inc. inspired me to want to learn. I feel my behavior was improving because I had really good role models.
Sold for $650. $650.
Every time it rains, pennies from heaven. Don't you know the clouds contain pennies from heaven? You'll find your fortune falling.
Here we are at our Jazz in January event, winter auction and cocktail party, and I think that we had a great time. It looked like everybody had a lovely evening, and we raised a lot of funds, and I'm really excited that we're going to get to do so many awesome programs, and all these people were so jazzed up to donate to us. How do you feel, Kelsey?
I am so excited and touched by how much of our community came together to raise for Girls Inc. As a former member, I know how important these programs are. Girls Inc. locally and Girls Inc. nationally helped put me through school, and I now have a master's degree in public policy, and believe me, I plan to use it. It's important that women are involved in politics, and it's important that we are the policymakers of the future, because we need to, put our best foot forward and make our imprint on this nation.
To find out more about Girls Inc. and their programs, visit them online at girlsinklowell.org. In this week's Let's Go segment, Courtney O'Malley takes us on an art tour to Gallery Z in downtown Lowell.
Good
Good afternoon and welcome to Let's Go in the Greater Merrimack Valley. I'm Courtney O'Malley and today we're here at Gallery Z, located on Market Street in historic downtown Lowell. Gallery Z first opened its doors in November 2015 and has since, in the last year, added a cafe and Sunday brunch. Gallery Z is made up of 25 local cooperative artists whose art changes on the walls monthly. This coming month, Gallery Z invites you to come check out the work of artist Serge Blanco. His work will be on display beginning February 4th through February 26th. The opening reception takes place this Saturday, February 4th from 7 to 9 p.m. And join us on Sunday, February 12th from 1 to 3 p.m. when Gallery Z hosts the Perfect Pair chocolate and wine pairing event. This event matches chocolates and wines provided by Tutu Bene Wine and Cheese Cellars, and all proceeds will benefit the Miracle Providers, which is a regional organization helping children and families affected by HIV. Thanks for joining us today at Gallery Z. For more information, visit galleryzartistcoop.com and be sure to check out their next upcoming Sunday brunch.
On this week's SunSpot segment, we bring you more discussion on the future location of Lowell High School. Proponent of Cawley Stadium location, Eric Nelson explains his reasoning to the Sun Enterprise editor, Chris Scott.
With me today is Eric Nelson. Eric Nelson, thank you for coming in.
Chris, thanks for having me.
Eric is a Belvedere resident. He's well known. His dad is the former athletic director at Lowell High School, and he and some other Lowell High School graduates, that's Eric, not Walter, have taken on a special cause, and they're working really hard at this cause. So Eric, why don't you tell us about your effort on behalf of a new high school, not downtown,
sure,
but out in Cawley Stadium.
Sure. So
and how you got involved in that.
Yeah, so thanks for having us here today, Chris. Appreciate it. So I don't know how well known I am. I feel I've gone from Walter and Jeannie's son to Forrest and Sydney's dad. That's kind of how I'm known. Yep. So, you know, and again, how I've gotten involved, it's not just me, it's a whole group of kind of like-minded parents who have children who will be going to high school, who have an age where they'll be going to high school when, you know, either the renovation or the new building could open. So we're very interested in.
So everyone in your group is a parent.
Everyone, well, parent or grandparent.
Okay.
You know, so you know, 2 weekends ago, my dad, wife, and daughter, 9-year-old daughter, were knocking on doors in the neighborhood. You know, and this Saturday, my son and I were out knocking on doors. So, for the most part, the core of the group are parents who have children kind of in that 9, 10 to 13, 14, maybe a little bit older age group. And it's not just Belvedere, it's across the city. You know, it's Centerville, Pawtuckaville, the Highlands, the Acre, South Lowell. It's really, you know, it's broad, and it's dedicated.
Now, we were talking off air just a little bit about the whole NIMBY issue.
Sure.
And neighborhood groups that form. Either for or against a project. In my years at the newspaper, and there have been many years there, the neighborhood groups that form are usually against a neighborhood project. Now, keeping in mind that, you know, nothing officially is proposed yet for Cawley Stadium. You know, we're still waiting for a couple of key dates and reports in early February.
Yep, absolutely.
Your group has formed because you're welcoming a possible new high school at Cawley. So it's kind of a new wrinkle there.
It's a little bit different. So, you know, the group that we formed, it's a lot of parents who spend a lot of time, you know, at baseball fields, at hockey rinks, at football fields, and who are very involved in the community in a variety of roles and different extracurriculars. And generally, when the topic of the new high school would come up, people would say, well, like, it'll never go to Belvedere. Belvedere will never go for it. And I think we heard that refrain enough that people started to say, well, not everyone in Belvedere feels that way. And I think we recognize that obviously we don't speak for everyone in Belvedere because there are folks who have concerns and some you know, very valid concerns. But there are folks in Belvedere who feel this would be a great location for it.
Before we start talking for a couple of minutes about the folks in Belvedere, what is it about that location that you think makes the most sense?
So
as opposed to renovating, you know, this kind of
yeah, no, it's a great question. I look at it from a variety of perspectives. So my oldest child is 11. You know, I'm a third-generation Lowell High grad. You know, my grandparents graduated from the high school in the late 30s. You know, my dad's class of '62, my mom's class of '63. I have 6 aunts and uncles who graduated in the late '60s to early '70s. You know, I'm class of '88. My sister's class of '91. You know, I'm a proud alumnus. I would love my son to be class of 2023 and my daughter to be class of 2026.
Okay.
So I look at it from the perspective of a concerned parent, first and foremost.
And what's the biggest concern?
The biggest concern for me is the construction period of the renovation project downtown would be, at a minimum, the entire 4 years of my son's high school experience. And no matter how well that goes, if that goes as well as they could possibly plan it, and if it takes only 4 years, regardless, I don't think it's a conducive education and learning environment. And so, you know, full disclosure, he's in 6th grade out at St. John's Prep in Danvers now. Doing great, getting great grades. He loves it. It's a beautiful campus.
Not easy to get to Danvers from Lowell.
Fortunately, getting him there is easier because I just drop him off at a bus at 7. It's much more difficult for my dad to pick him up at 3 to get him back for whether it's hockey or baseball or something. So getting him there is not too bad. And you know, and as long as you're a student in good standing, you can just send a letter and say we want to stay. But he wants to go to Lowell High. And my wife and I, we're all on board sending him there. You know, we think he's going to get a great education. We think the teachers will do a great job. We think there's value to going to school in a urban, diverse environment. But you can do that by going to school in an urban environment with a diverse community in a brand new building that rivals, as good as any campus, any suburban setting.
So, regardless of what a construction executive might tell you, your gut just tells you that renovating that mini metropolis over there for 3,500 students while keeping school in session and keeping all the extracurricular activities going, you just really wonder how that's going to work. And you're not convinced that regardless of what you're told and what other proponents of the downtown site feel, that, boy, that's a tough one. Tough one to accept.
It's a tough one to accept.
Okay.
And I think I have some perspective on that. You know, so for the last 20 plus years, I've been involved in commercial real estate development, and I've worked on the institutional side, where we've represented pension fund clients who are equity investors in real estate funds, and I've worked on the development of buildings like 33 Arch Street in the financial district, and then I switched more over to the private operator developer side. And I've worked on ground-up developments like 1560 Tupelo Road and Waltham. So I spent 20 years in commercial real estate. All things being equal, I think from a constructability standpoint, from a sequencing standpoint, and from a risk mitigation standpoint, going new and ground up is probably the more prudent way to go. There will be fewer unknowns and fewer risks with a fully, designed full set of construction drawings when you're coming from a blank slate.
Okay, so the more prudent way to go. But off air, we were talking about a key date coming up. I think it's February 7th, when we're going to the public will learn how much it will cost, or at least we'll have a ground game. How much it will cost to build a new high school as opposed to renovating the current one. Say, for instance, the costs come back and it says it's cheaper to renovate. Then how do you guys respond to that? How do you guys react to that?
So I think there's going to be a lot of assumptions into that say it's cheaper to renovate. And so even if it's on a per square foot basis, it's $500 for both, let's say, the Cawley site is more efficient than downtown. So it's 60,000 square feet less. So even on a per square foot basis, at $500 a square foot, 60,000 square feet less, it's $30 million.
Isn't the chatter, behind the scenes, that it's going to be cheaper to build a new high school at Cawley than to renovate this? Isn't that kind of percolating below?
I think if you talk to folks, they would say, generally, again, this is an assumption, that it's sometimes cheaper to go new than renovate, just because there are less unknowns. Definitely there are benefits to renovating. Foundations, exterior walls, that type of thing. But we're also talking about demolition of the new building and of the field house regardless. So it's not a complete renovation.
Right.
And then I think regardless, even if it is a little bit cheaper, assuming it comes back cheaper, which is the assumption in your question, regardless of which option you use going downtown, I think there's 3 proposed options for downtown.
Taking Kirk Street, taking the doctor's building, and some other one, whatever.
Right, so regardless of whether it's option 1, option 2, option 3, none of them fit without acquiring the professional building. Okay? And they all call for the freshman academy coming back to the city. So one of the nice things about downtown now is the freshmen are separated, and they can kind of get assimilated and acclimated to a large urban school.
What do you, when you say the doctor's building, you're referring to Lowell Professional Park on Arcan Drive across from the cop shop. What are you hearing on that building? I mean, I hear a lot of things. I hear that those doctors don't want to move. They want to be there for another 50, 60 years. Then I hear, too, that they're just holding out for the best price. And once the city writes them a check, they're gone. What do you hear as you canvas the neighborhood? You think they're just holding out for the biggest?
We hear the same thing, so that would just be an assumption. I assume anything's for sale at the right price, you know. But I think there are, I think, 5 practices there now that are successful and they're thriving. And we have some businesses that are closing up downtown, so we're kind of pushing out a business that's doing well, and while we're trying to backfill others that haven't done so well.
Let's just say the first premise is correct, that they want to be there for another century, and they'll fight any eminent domain taking by the city. Just based on what I hear, I'd like you to comment, that would take 6 votes of the city council. It would take that 6th vote, which is sometimes really key, and you've been around Lowell, you know how that works. It seems to me that the votes aren't there, at least not today, to take that building by eminent domain.
It doesn't seem like it. I think, the subcommittee is going to receive the report from Skanska and Perkins Eastman. They're going to make a recommendation to the city council. The city council votes, so everyone understands that this is a city council vote. We've been in touch with all the councilors. They've all been great. They've all been willing to listen.
Have you met now with all city councilors?
So I believe we've spoken to all.
Okay.
I would say, for the most part, there may be some phone tag going on with a couple others that we just haven't closed the loop yet. And generally, they've called people back. They've been responsive. They've met. They've listened. They've really kind of heard us out. But one thing it seems that is consistent is that there really isn't a big appetite for acquiring those.
Right. Okay, we have 2 minutes left. I'd like to just move on quickly. You said one of your motivating factors in getting involved in this effort was you kept hearing Belvedere will never go for it. Belvedere will never go for it. So when you've been canvassing the neighborhood, and when your dad's been canvassing the neighborhood, and your other committee members have been canvassing the neighborhood, what are you hearing? Actually, would you say the majority is embracing the idea of a high school at Cawley, or are people saying, no way, we don't want to go near?
Yeah, I can just anecdotally tell you, our statistics, our yield has been incredibly positive. So we probably have about 50, 60 signatures in our neighborhood. We have 50 to 60 yeses. We have 3 no's, and we have 3 we need to learn more. So, this is from knocking on Belmont and Talbot.
On the hill?
Up on the hill.
Oh, okay.
So.
But what about, in all due respect, though, that's not Cawley Stadium.
Sure.
What about out on, at the end of Douglas Road and the end of Clark Road, where it will be?
I think the end of Douglas Road is going to be a tough sell, and I understand that. I get it. But there's no perfect solution for everybody.
Who gets to knock on those doors? Are you doing that?
Yeah, I'll take the hit. I don't mind getting beat up. So it's but everyone we talk to, even if they said no, it's been really a civil discourse. It's been great.
Civil. Okay, great. We're just about wrapping up. So just tell us quickly now the group's objectives over the course of the next week or 2. You said you're going out with your son this weekend.
Yeah, we'll be back knocking on doors again this weekend. Probably both days, and there'll be groups fanning out across the city in all the neighborhoods.
Okay, and I imagine you'll have a full presence at the meetings next week. Just tell us the quick meetings next week, and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, so December 7th, there's 2 meetings. 10 o'clock at the mayor's reception room. That's the subcommittee meeting. That's open to the public. And then December 7th, Tuesday evening, city council meeting.
Right.
And then December 8th, the following day, there's a big Belvedere Neighborhood Association meeting.
Those are 2 meetings, and the Sun will have full coverage of those.
That's great.
And we appreciate your help, Eric, and keep us posted with your efforts, and good luck.
All right.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Chris.
This is it for this edition of LTC News. You can find us on LTC Channel 8 and 99, on the web at ltc.org, or get the link each week on Facebook. I'm Shomita Acharya. Thanks for joining us.